fact, one of the handouts you'll be getting here in a moment, if you don't have it already, is our 4-year plan. Also exploring careers. So now is the time to start, thinking about those things. Take advantage of the Winter Career Fair coming up in a few days. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but it's never too early to start meeting people in different industries that you may be thinking about. Ask questions. I mean, they know you're freshmen, so now is the time to, ask questions about what it's like to work in accounting, consulting, public relations, advertising, not-for-profits, government. So please take advantage of that. I've been at the Career Center for about 6 years now, a little over. Most of my career was in corporate finance and accounting. And by the way, we have a corporate finance and accounting career night coming up, which we'll also talk about. Spent about 8 years of those years living overseas. Then came back. I'm a Notre Dame alum, came back to campus, and just really love what I'm doing. My boss is Svete, and he's over 20 years, I think, in the field, and more than 10 years now at Notre Dame. So, and I'll let Lee talk about what we can offer you at the Career Center.
Thanks, Ray. How's everybody doing today? Good? How many of you right now have an idea what you want to do with your career? I'm just curious. Share it with us. Investment management, good. Accounting, for your focus on that accounting field, good. Who else? Yes. Aerospace engineering. Great engineering school. And we have a number of companies coming into that career fair you want to talk about. Anybody else? Yes. You looking at the math major then, possibly? Good.
Great. We have as you'll see, we got a risk management and actuarial night coming up on February 29th. So make sure you attend that.
Great majors. Anybody else want to share with us? Yes. Hollywood. A little entertainment, huh? Why not do it? Marketing in the entertainment field, possibly? Directing? Thinking about doing film, television, theater, maybe as a major? Yeah. Good. Anybody else? Here, good. I really don't need a mic, but we're going to film this. That's why I'm going to use it. Most of you don't, and that's good, because that's why you're coming to a school like ND. It gives you an opportunity to explore opportunities. And the first piece of advice that I give is study something that you love and that you have a passion for. If it's engineering, you're going to be very successful if you study it. Because when you're up at 2 a.m. at night and you're studying for those finals or you're working on that production tape, you better love it. Because if you do, you'll be successful, you'll achieve, and this education will take you where you want to go. How many of you are still thinking about choice of college major? Raise your hand if you're still thinking about your choice of major. Okay? What's important to think about in major? It's a big decision. You chose Notre Dame, right? Now, your next big one's going to be your college curriculum. What should go into that decision, do you think? Help me out here. Yes. Love it. Exactly. What else? Values, interests, skills. If you're going to be aerospace, your analytical skills are going to be pretty good, aren't they? Problem solving, strong math student, actuarial science, same thing. And thinking about it now, you're first year students, right? You're in your second semester already. Did the first semester go fast? Some yes, some no. It's going to get faster. And before you know it, you're going to be in that junior year with the major looking for internships. And just think about a year ago, you were in high school planning your graduation. And now you're sitting in Jordan Auditorium, starting your second semester at Notre Dame, greatest university in the country, in the world, and I've worked at several, some Ivy League experience. And now you're thinking about, how do I apply that? And one of the things that I'm just so happy to be here to talk to first years and with Ray, and want to thank Doug and Sam, because there's a lot of students that'll see me on campus a year. You might see me a year from now saying, I'm glad that I listened to what you had to say, because I love my finance math major. I love my English major. I'm really doing well, or my film and television and theater. And using your faculty and thinking about it now is important to have a plan. Ray, I'm going to let you drive this now, so I'm not holding on to two things, okay? How many of you have started to think about each semester and having a plan before graduation. Anybody start that yet? And what do you think goes into that plan? Absolutely, it's building your portfolio. Because the competition out there, we're in a global economy, right? It's tough. There's a global crisis in Greece right now. Europe's in peril. You're going to hear President Obama's State of the Union address, which I encourage you to listen to. And those things go into your plan about choosing your major and then down the road the career that you want to pursue. Use us. We're in Flander Hall. We work with all undergraduate students and graduate students, not MBA in law. We do everything else. We're open 8 to 5. We do a lot of evening workshops. You can do walk-ins, meaning you don't have to have an appointment. You mentioned a resume. Let's say I'm going to go to that career fair and check it out. Get online. We'll show you on our resume drafts. Develop a draft and bring it in to see one of our counselors any day between 1 and 4:45. You don't need an appointment. We do get busier before the fairs, and afterwards you usually don't have to wait very long. If you want to talk about, my dad wants me to major in finance, but I'm really like history, and you're trying to come up with different types of decisions, then come in and make an appointment with us. You can call 150-200, and these are our counselors. This is just for the Mendoza majors. We have a career advisor for every college major on campus in every department. I use this one, for example. How many are going to be business majors? Raise your hand. This allows you to look at the screen and say, I'm interested in finance. Where's my investment management student? Investment management. If you want investments, your Bob Richard is going to be the best person to talk to, or Ray. And you go in, set up an appointment. And Bob was with JP Morgan for 20 years in banking. The guy knows it, lived it, breathed it. Now he's sharing it with students. Doubled our number of internships on Wall Street. And each one of these advisors, I am blessed to work with some outstanding professionals who have business experience. Lissa was in fashion merchandising and retail. Ray's been in all over the world, in Brussels and Singapore, doing logistics and business operations. He's got an MBA at Kelly School at IU. We won't hold that against him. He had a B school. That's all right. I'm just kidding. Ray's got good experience. And Lorianne, Global Internship Initiative. Next slide, Ray. This is our website. Become familiar with it. It's pretty simple. We don't get into lots of pages to read. This will give you exposure to resume writing, interviewing skills, writing cover letters, exploring career opportunities. Bookmark it. We do have a Facebook page, and we just push out information to you. We don't kill you every day with it. It's like once a week with updates. This is like an extra class that you don't get credit for until later. Although we do teach. Yeah, briefly talk about our course, Ray, that we're going to take next year as a sophomore.
Open to the sophomores on the AUG 30,000 Career Development and Strategies, 1 credit, pass, fail. And we start off talking about ways, choose your majors, discernment, choosing careers, interview skills, networking, resumes. We have etiquette lunch. When you go in those second round interviews after lunch, you know how to talk to people. Much more than which knife and fork to use. That's kind of the easy part. We'll cover that in 10 minutes. But Mike Seaman from our runs game day operations
does a great job.
Protocol for the university teaches that course. There's a lot of relations with alumni. Does a lot of this. So they have good insight on how to best network with these people during events like lunch, dinner, whatever. So take a look at that course. It's a great opportunity. Things you'll probably be doing anyway. So here you have a little more structure to it. You get credit for it. And we bring in a lot of outside speakers to address these topics.
That's a good point, Ray. When you look at career success, some people call it placement. We're at 98% within 3 to 4 months after graduation for most of the schools. You don't get there without the building blocks of planning, having your own plan for your career, and understanding what you want to do. So once you choose that major, you start exploring career opportunities related to that major or outside that opportunity. And one of the first things you do with that resume is you start looking for summer internships. Very important today. Much different than when we went to school. We used to work in the recreation department, and swimming and coaching and camps. Those are fine to do. Maybe a lot of you have done them already. But as you get into your sophomore and junior year, you want to plan for the summer internships. We have job shadowing programs. You can job shadow with an alum next winter break. Externships, which are unpaid project-based internships, 2 to 3 weeks. We provide a small stipend for that. And then the internship, last year, Doug, we had 1,754 internships through our office and through some of the other academic areas of the institution. Most are paid, some are not. We have internship programs. There's a page we can get to that in a minute. But these are the building blocks of success. You don't just go from, hey, I'm writing a resume, I'm going to interview, certainly very important, but these different programs, whether it is having a mentor, getting on the LinkedIn site, realizing that you have access. This is a gift. You have access to over 100,000 Notre Dame alumni through My Notre Dame, which is the alumni site, which means I could go, let's say if you're from California, you're interested in film and television, or New York or wherever, you can go look up alumni in those areas and reach out to them, especially if you got a resume ready to go. I'd like your advice.
That's a shadow program in Los Angeles this past fall.
We did.
How many students, Lee?
We took a half a dozen. We went to L.A. We stopped. It wasn't me. Our staff did it. 5 different sites, Warner Brothers and other places in the film, television, theater industry. It was great. But because those opportunities, they don't recruit like investment banks or General Electric or Procter & Gamble. You're going to have access to some of the world-class employers all over the world. Your IBMs, the GEs, the Goldman Sachs, those Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, the list goes on and on. But if you want to work in some other industries, let's say film or sports marketing, they don't necessarily come to college campuses and recruit. You've got to go out and find them. And these are the building blocks for success. Let me talk about the Global Internship Initiative. This is a relatively new program. It's funded, which means if you find something that's unpaid, you can apply. It's not guaranteed. You can apply for up to $3,000 in living expenses. That's tax-free money before you leave campus. If you find a learning-based opportunity that sounds like it's a great opportunity for you to learn and grow, you can apply for funding. We have 7 different programs. Is that the next slide, Ray? No, it's not. Keep going. This is it. I'll jump to it because there's several different ones. Is anybody from the state of Indiana here? Anybody from Indiana? All right. If you're not, we've got 6 other different programs. But realize that these can be involved. They can be global in nature. We've got students that do IBM in China. We have students that are doing the Olympics in London, Australian football in Australia, working with GE in Australia. And these deadlines occur in mid to late April if you find an opportunity. Now, I will tell you it's better for your sophomore and definitely your junior year because that's how we prioritize. The juniors have the first priority, sophomores, and then first years. But it's good to start planning it now and realize that last year we funded $300,000 worth of internships, 146 students.
Actually, Lee, I don't think you have to be from Indiana.
No, you don't. That's a good point.
But if you get an internship or full-time position in Indiana, there's some funding available for internships and even afterwards for full-time positions to keep good students in Indiana. There's a special program.
Combat the brain drain that's happened so much. Okay, thanks. Let's go back, if we can, a couple slides. There we go, good. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Go Irish. Our website, which is designed to connect you with recruiters, we're going to actually go through this, Ray. Are we still going to do that today?
If we have time, when we're finished, we'll ask for a volunteer to come up and register and Go Irish here up on the podium just to show you how simple it is. It's about a 5-minute exercise. And once you're registered, you're good to start looking at the opportunities, the events, other things. To actually apply for jobs, you have to have a resume posted.
Yeah. This will help you schedule future on-campus interviews, mock interviews, which are practice, real live with recruiters. There's no pressure. You come in, you dress up, and you actually go through what a real interview's like, especially like I'm using investment management. You've got to go through that and practice to be competitive. And you can sign up for those online. Our externship programs will be online. You'll see many of our career fairs on and off campus through this system. And then we can reach out to you. For example, we've got a company coming in for our engineers the week before the career fair. What I did is I found all my aerospace engineers and my computer science people. I sent them an email. Hey, we've got Microsoft coming in and Apple and Accenture and Deloitte. And then they RSVP for events. And this is really going to be your online career, I won't call it Facebook, it'll be your online career portal and utilizing the Notre Dame resources. I had a senior that just graduated, now he's a graduate, said, Lee, I put my profile up there, but I didn't use Go Irish. What do I do now? Well, now you're on LinkedIn and some of the other areas. Take advantage of this system. And we'll go through it. It's really it's easy to use, but it gives you tons of contacts and opportunities based upon your interest, as well as some of the geographic areas you might be looking at. Let's go back. Now, this is the 4-year plan. And I could do a whole class on this, but you're going to get exposed. I love this class that Doug and Sam teach because you're going to come out of this semester with a real awareness of taking advantage of everything Notre Dame has to offer. And we just talked about Go Irish, writing that resume. Resume continues to be refined because just think about it for a minute. You're going to take new classes. Your grades are going to be, hopefully, keep going up and up. You're going to add work experiences. How many involved in organizations on campus? Leadership organizations? How many of you done community service? Raise your hand. All right, this is all going on your resume. How many of you have at least 2 awards from high school? Academic, yes. How many of you are, how many of you declared your major or already know what your major is going to be? Raise your hand. These are things that are going to go on that resume that you're going to continue to refine over your 4-year period at Notre Dame. It's going to evolve. It's going to keep getting better. And it's that one-page document. That's what you're going to interview with. If I'm sitting in front of you in an interview and it's Fidelity or it's Goldman Sachs or it's Bank of America, that one-page document is going to be the interview script. And we're going to talk. And I'm going to ask you tough questions because it's a separation factor of who are the best students out there. Successful career planning, this is something that I can't emphasize enough. We've been through, some of you might have studied the economy, but since 2008, this is the worst job market and unemployment rate since the Great Depression. I'm a historian. I've studied it. We were really close to a depression. And the unemployment rates at 9-10%, as high as 12-14%, that's low. That's not even right. The underemployment is probably 20% in the country. It takes college graduates, on average, 9.4 months to find a job in their career chosen field. Notre Dame's about 3 to 6 months. We're to hit that 98%. We're much better than that, and certainly the quality of the institution and the resources and the alumni body that comes back and going to hire you for jobs and internships. But I'm just saying right now that if you don't take the career search with a sense of urgency, you're making a mistake. Not pressure. I don't want to be stressful, but urgency. Urgency defined as you're going to get active and get involved. And that's why we've weathered the storm of this terrible job market. It's getting a little bit better, but I still think it's unstable. We're not out of the woods yet. Housing market's in crisis, I believe, still. It's getting a little bit better. And doing some of these things is going to help you be successful. Faculty, you have access to the world's greatest at this institution. Take advantage of them. Get to know them. They're going to write letters of recommendation for you. Talk to them in class. Be engaged in class. Do your group projects.
Our engineering and the faculty are excellent at helping students. So please take advantage of it.
I have a sophomore that came to see me yesterday. He's thinking consulting or finance. He has about 46 contacts on LinkedIn, which is our professional network. He has engaged alumni. He's already done a job shadow program. This is a sophomore, second semester. He has internship interviews lined up next week. And he's been asked by General Mills and Deloitte Consulting to visit their career fair booth next week on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Now, that is a sophomore that's engaged. He's also getting involved in some activities. And speaking of engaged, workshops, career nights, here's some important dates. This is on our website. It's on our Facebook page. Realize that there are some great opportunities here. If you're an ITM major, you're thinking, I want to major in ITM, stop by the breakfast. Meet some of our staff. We've got some great recruiters coming into Flander Hall. Our economics, anybody interested in economics? Come to that breakfast. We're going to feed you free too. And meet some of these employers that love econ majors. We have a great economics department here. And it's even going to get stronger. Internship fair coming up. Now that, as a freshman, I call that low pressure. You could show up in your jeans, your t-shirt, and just walk around and not talk to anybody. If you did that, I'll still be happy. I'd rather have you dress up, get your resume ready, hand it out a little bit. And they're going to tell you, hey, come back and see us your sophomore year. Maybe we don't recruit freshmen right away, but there's some other companies. We had Finish Line, for example, last year. Now, it's a mall job. Well, actually, it's merchandising, marketing, brand management. And a freshman picked up the internship, got paid. Now they're going to corporate headquarters, and they're out of the store. Just in one summer. It was the top intern of the summer in Indiana was an ND student at Finish Line, and they weren't checking people out with credit cards, buying their shoes. They were doing a lot of marketing. But anyways, that was a first-year story, true story. Risk management, career night. Ray, do you want to mention any of these up here that you're working with? Corporate finance night. Now, each one of these nights, there's several employers on each night. That's why I like them. You're going to get some direct contact with several companies in that night, and you're in and out of there in an hour and 15 minutes. It doesn't, hour and a half. It doesn't take that long. Okay. This is our fair. A little intimidating if you've not been to one. A lot of you have attended college fairs where you've gone up and you've seen lots of different colleges at your high school or at a local convention center. This is a picture from a recent one. You'll see that most students are dressed up, but I think it's important to come over and see it and feel it and just watch people in action, pick up some literature. If you're really interested in it and being serious about it, business suit attire is preferred. Dress up, we'll get name tags. You swipe in, name tag comes printed out, looks really nice. You pick up a map, and you can go around and talk to different people. If they've got a ribbon on their name tag, it says alumni, go talk to them. These are ND alums that were sitting in your seat probably a year ago to 5 years ago. And say, oh, I see you're an alum and you're working at Clarity Consulting or at Procter & Gamble. Hey, what was your major? My name is Lee. I'm thinking about marketing. And can you tell me a little bit more about your brand management program? And when do you apply? And is it a junior-based competitive process? And then they give you like free samples of their stuff. And you pick it up and you put it in your bag. And then you develop, hey, can I have a business card? One contact like that could make the difference in your career. Let's stop and think about that for a minute. You meet one organization, let's say it's accounting. Who's my accounting students in here? It's my accounting students. Big Four is going to recruit you pretty heavy. No question about that. We got a top program. But this is a good opportunity to talk to the middle market firms, the big Fortune 500 companies. Say, accounting major, yeah, can I get your business card? And you start building that right now because they're going to want to talk to you. KPMG, Deloitte, PwC, but also the Grant Thorntons and some of the other middle market companies. Talked about the internship program. Any questions? Let me go back to the internship program. Any questions about internships right now? No? Any questions you might have about the process, how you apply? How many of you had an interview before, been interviewed for a job? Raise your hand. Okay, good. Did you do well? Pretty good? Did you prepare? Good. How about you? Good. How many of you had an interview that, boy, I was a little bit shaky? Come on, admit it. I have. You have, right? Doug and Sam have had those interviews. That's where the preparation is important, because you don't want to go over that interview. You got your suit on, you're there, and all of a sudden you're sitting outside the door, and they're going to call me in, and what are they going to ask me? It's almost like an athlete preparing to play a game. Anybody played athletics in high school? Where you've trained, you've done your scouting report, there's competition, you're trying to win. And there's some similarities to that analogy. All right, Ray, you want to say we're about half an hour? Any questions for me at all? Yes, question. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yes. And then the other recommendation, when you get to know, if you've had a couple appointments with our counselors that I mentioned on the board, your math, like if you went and met with Robin Santilli and you got to know her, you'd have a career center person. We're one of the first ones to write a letter of recommendation for a student. Because if you're in there as a freshman with your resume, boy, you're going to get a high mark from me, because you're motivated and you're focused. But yes, go back to high school. You can also use advisors for clubs and activities. But I like to have at least one teacher or professor in that group. That's a good question. Other questions? Yes.
I saw the career center had that ethical job search.
Yes. Yes.
Like when you get like the internship, you withdraw from all others. Like we're freshmen and we're not likely to get it. We just apply to a lot, and then on the off chance we would get like 2.
Okay. Great question. First of all, we're Notre Dame, and we don't renege on job offers. We don't lie on resumes, and we don't misrepresent ourselves. Number two, the reason we have that policy is also to protect you. So companies can't give you exploding offers. Like KPMG says, we want to hire you, you got to tell me tomorrow. No, we're not going to do it that way. So it goes two sides of the street. Ray can talk a little bit about that. But my advice is apply to a lot of places. If you get an offer, come in and talk to us. We can engage the company. We have several policies to protect you, but don't accept something unless you're prepared to follow through with it. Okay? That's one thing I want to say. And Ray?
After you've accepted something as a freshman, keep on networking, keep on with the shadow programs, things like that. I mean, this is your time to explore opportunities. We just don't expect you to tell Dwight you're going to show up on, June 20th for their internship program, and then on June 19th, call them up and say, well, no, sorry, something else came up, I'm not going to be there. And that's definitely unethical. But as freshmen and sophomores, this is your opportunity to learn, to explore, and, take advantage of that. So, you're not cut off from doing any of that. Just ask that, once you've accepted an internship and or full-time offer, obviously, really doesn't make sense to interview anymore. You already accepted the position, but all the other activities, take advantage of. And then as Lee said, it's a two-way street. We make sure companies give you enough time to make decisions, because they're pretty big decisions, obviously. If you ever have a problem with a company, pressuring you to make a decision or meet a deadline and doesn't meet our policies, please come in and talk to us. Oftentimes, it's just a misunderstanding from the company. We can clear it up pretty quickly. If we have to go to bat for you, we'll definitely do that. And, we hold our employers pretty rigorously to these guidelines. And if a company should ever rescind an offer they've made to you, Lee, I don't think you have too much of a problem with that. Has happened, once or twice in the past couple of years. Those companies are no longer recruiting at Notre Dame. It's something we just don't accept.
No, don't tolerate it. I'll say one thing to end, that we're not. Our philosophy is to teach you to have the skills to be successful for the rest of your life. We're not headhunters. We don't place students in jobs, as much as mom and dad would like that to happen with the price of education. I will tell you that we have the greatest staff in the country, and we win every year. We compete for the top opportunities in the entire world every year, because I'm working with great students like you. But it's your responsibility to take advantage of this. I'm working with College of Business, class of 2011. 99, I'm going to send this to you, Doug and Sam. We're at 99.4% successful career outcomes. I'm working about 4 students, but they didn't use a career center. They got behind. Don't let that be you. Okay, Ray, how much time do we have, Doug? Sam? 10 minutes. Do you want to demo Go Irish, Ray, or not? Can we have a volunteer? Yes, come on up. Do you have a profile yet set up on Go Irish? Okay, good. We've got this on LDAP. Use your net ID and password. You're going to use that for all of our databases. You may need to use it too to get into the BIC data. And what's his name, Ray? What's your name? David? Welcome, David. Thanks for coming in. You can see we've got the login right on our homepage. He's got a long pass. Nobody's going to get that password. He's got that memorized. That's hack proof right there. Yes, top security. The CIA may be after him soon. Okay, and he's just logged in. He's and here's his getting started. And you can integrate this to your Facebook page if you'd like. We're also going to have a mobile app coming out soon. Look for that for if you got a smartphone, iPhone. We're going to have a mobile app for you. It's got his name in there. You're already uploaded in our system. We downloaded all your data, not all of your data, your basic data from the registrar, so you're in there. You're just filling out. Phone numbers help us many times. I've been sending some texts to my recent grads that are still looking for jobs. That always helps us to have that phone number. We won't bug you too much, believe me. Home address is good because street is at Notre Dame. Yeah. Go ahead, Ray. As he's doing that too, you see you can follow along the right-hand side of where he's going, because it helps keep track of what your profile is. You can see geographic preferences. That also helps us focus. It's not required. Some of these fields aren't required. We do like to have your permanent address so we can find you. Is site secure? You're not going to get spam emails. You will get emails from the Career Center about events, but let's say, for example, you secure your internship. You can turn that off if you like. We're trying to help you not jam up your email box. And you can see he's getting into employment preferences. And these aren't necessarily required, but he's just picking them out. Because I will search if I have an engineering internship or an accounting internship, rather than send it to the whole class, so I don't get my film guy here too much business email, that I can find him just as easily as I can find our accounting majors. In his preferences, he's going to save it, and you can see here that you can see where he's keeping track of what he's done, his degree level, your majors. And once you do this, it's in there for your whole graduation, and then you'll be able to upload different resumes into the document site. You may also have transcripts in there, cover letters, keep track of your clubs. And we do search under a lot of these fields to find students. And here you can see, hey, do I want to receive emails? I would keep those on until you get yourself all set, signed, and you know where you're going. And again, we do not blast out, we don't over-email students. As you get into your junior and senior year, you'll also get emails from the academic departments. Many times we use support there. He's done. Yeah. Hey, Ray, let's search employers just one time. Can we go to employers for a minute? Go to employers and do a search on KPMG for a minute. On keyword search, on the right-hand side right there. Search KPMG. It's a public accounting firm. And here, you can see, and I do this, you got their website with their career website. You also have all their on-campus dates. You can mark your calendar. And if you click on the organization, KPMG, there you go. Click on that for a minute. It's going to give you a profile of the company. It can give you access to their Facebook page. And go under contacts. Let's see if they listed their contacts right there. Yeah, right there. Look at this. Is it? Yeah. You got Elizabeth yeah, she's here. Liz. She's here today doing mock interviews. You got access to people that want to hire you. Take advantage of that. Build your network. And she's great to work with. Campus development manager. You can even send her an email and say, hey, I found your name on Go Irish. I was at the class with Lee and Ray today. I'm going to look you up at the career fair. I really look forward to meeting the KPMG team next week and do some outreach. And they love it for the most part. Sometimes they don't always answer because they get really busy, but that's networking. That's getting exposure. Any questions about Go Irish? Okay, one last search and we'll get them out of here. Let's go back. You have to have them go back. Yes, go to jobs and internships. Yeah, go to that one. Let's go Irish jobs. Okay. And then what we'll do on this one is under keywords, go ahead and put accounting in. I'll stay with that industry for this point, and then just hit enter. And if he scrolls down, this is what I like. If you see WCIF, that means they're coming to the Winter Career Fair. Here you have, I'll just take IT Business Analyst Intern. It gives you, this is Visa. I just visited them, Doug. Sam, I went out to the West Coast. I found an alum at Visa. Great company. They love Notre Dame. They're flying out from San Francisco. And this gives you all the data, gives you a good background scouting report before you even get to the career fair. Then when you go up to, say, to Visa, let's say, for example, it was, hey, I'm looking at, I found you on Go Irish. I am a first-year student, but, yes, Sam? Yes. Yes. Good point. Don't think that your major pigeonholes you into a certain job. Do some more research on that because you've got some great skills. And if in this case I chose accounting, that means they would consider an accounting major who has interest in IT. Great question. And this shows you the internship as well. But look at these posting dates. The 20th, 23rd, which was yesterday, I believe. All the majors here. And this won't completely, you might find that you don't find an employer in here that matches your interests. Come in and see us. We'll find them. Under Armour, for example, they're not coming to the career fair, but they're hiring 28 interns in Baltimore, Maryland, if you're interested in the sports industry. We'll help you find them. Last minute questions and we'll get out of here. Yes. Yes, we do. Can you let's escape for a minute. We'll show them real quick. careercenter.nd.edu. Yes, we do. There's samples. Yeah. Good. We've got it then. We're going to show you the resume section. Go to undergraduates and then resumes. Okay, there you go. This will give you the samples. It'll also give you tips. You can choose, let's go to the sample early college resume, right at the bottom one. See it? Right there. Yeah, good. Now, this is basic. We designed this so that you can see that they got the addresses at the top. You have the career objective, which is optional. Your first education is not your high school, it's Notre Dame. This will be May 2015, right? Doug, did I get that right? 15? And now you can put the high school in because since you just graduated, stop for a minute. You've got your honors, which will be high school based for the most part. And then you can see some of the experiences. Experience doesn't necessarily mean that you were paid. If it was something where you gained experience in a leadership section, it doesn't have to go into activities, which are many things that you did in high school or that you might be doing on campus. But notice here how it's laid out. We've got the education into experience. The bullet points describe what you did. Before you get into that, right, the bullet points, when and where it occurred. You don't use the word I or my. It's all action verb based. And then what you can do is use this as a sample to write your own resume. And then bring it in, or actually you're going to turn it in, right, Sam, next week? But if you want it looked at, you can bring it in during our walk-in hours. I get into the activities. I like this one because anybody did any writing for their newspaper or their yearbook? This case, the student did. Different clubs you've participated in. Volunteer work was separated from activities, although you can combine those. You can also call that service. And then languages, skills, technology. You can also have interest on your resume. It should fill up one page. It should not go to 2 pages. It is not a transcript. It is a one-page resume about you, your accomplishments, your courses, academics. And again, I had a good question. Yes, you go back to high school when you're first-year students because you're some of the best and brightest in the country. Your reason you're here is because you accomplished so much in high school. So that should be on there. As you progress with Notre Dame's education, high school begins to drop off. Gradually drops off. Sometimes sophomores even take it off because they've got so much stuff. Questions? We appreciate this opportunity because Sam and Doug, thanks for having us.
We'll see you in the Career Center for the next year or so. We'll see you in the Winter Career Fair. If there are any questions, as Lee talked about networking, it's a great place to start. Just met 2 people who can, know you. Hey, I was in Sam's, Doug's class last week, last month. Just want to talk about such and such. So take advantage of that. Let's give David a round.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, everybody. Yep.